With an AEW star arrested and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Talking about the reaction he received from fans at the 2013 Money in the Bank match, Cody Rhodes told My Mom's Basement, "For them to have got with me that night at Money in the Bank in 2013, a career milestone. I wouldn't have stayed with WWE as long as I did had that moment not happened." 2013? Oh yeah, I was thinking about leaving WWE. I feel like after 2011-12, I was already starting to explore the idea in my mind of could I leave home? Could I try something different? And the world was growing, but yeah, 2013, I definitely was at least thinking about putting a foot out the door or so. And that was a moment where I went, nope, we're clearly doing something right, but you know. During that same interview, Cody Rhodes recalled his loss to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39, saying, "I was just sitting there in the ring with my hands draped across my knees, and you can see me telling myself, I verbally told myself to get up. And the only thing I learned from being in a WrestleMania main event, I know everybody was like, oh my gosh, WrestleMania main event, hardest match to get into. Oh, your dad never did that, all that stuff. The only thing I learned was, well, I gotta get back. I gotta get back and I gotta win. I can't call it, I gotta win." That was bittersweet. I mean, more bitter than anything. The only thing I was trying to do was look at as many fans as I could and let them know it'll be okay. It was a very tense, awkward, cold feeling at WrestleMania 39, so it opens up opportunities for WrestleMania 40 perhaps to be a different feeling. When it comes to WWE's plan for Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo on NXT, the Wrestling Observer newsletter noted that Carrillo and Garza right now are in NXT, but there is a long-term main roster idea for them as a babyface tag team. The idea using their grandfather, as opposed to Hector Garza, Angel's father, who was actually the biggest star in the family, to establish them as authentic Mexican babyfaces, with the idea their grandfather was a superstar. It appears a former WWE star was present backstage in AEW with Sean Ross Sapp, a Fightful writing. "This week in Nashville saw numerous non-AEW talent backstage at the show, perhaps the biggest of which is one of the most famous WCW champions of all time, David Arquette. He did not rumble, nor was he ready to. Lana, also known as CJ Perry, was at the show visiting with Miro. Lana and Miro have a home in the area. Perry hasn't worked a match or done wrestling appearances outside of signings since leaving WWE, but was booked for a show last year that got canceled. Summer Rae was also backstage at the August 16th episode of AEW Dynamite. She's expressed interest in the past about making appearances in the past and wrestled at the 2022 Royal Rumble. She had a couple of matches after her WWE run as well. At the recent WWA 4 event in Atlanta, Sting and Darby Allin would end up making a surprise appearance. Here's the video. Mentioning the plans AEW had for Thunder Rosa's return to action, the Wrestling Observer revealed that Thunder Rosa was planned to challenge for the women's title very quickly after she was cleared, given she never lost it in the ring. When she is cleared is still not confirmed. Her back issues ended up being far worse than originally expected. For the latest on Jade Cargill's AEW status, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that Jade Cargill's name has been talked about regarding coming back soon. Despite being off programming, Sean Ross Sapp Fightful added that Jade Cargill was at the August 9th episode of AEW Dynamite. She is still under contract with All Elite Wrestling and has been taking some planned time off from the company. With Bryan Danielson suffering a fractured arm during his match against Okada at Forbidden Door, this put a halt to plans at All In for him, as the Wrestling Observer said. The story that had Bryan Danielson not been injured, his most likely match at Wembley Stadium would have been a singles match with Kenny Omega, has been pretty much confirmed. It was never a sure thing, but it was the working idea before the injury. Speaking about facing former WWE star Mercedes Mone at WrestleMania 40, Charlotte Flair told Sports Illustrated, "We'll see what WrestleMania XL brings, but you know what's crazy? Think of how much better we are now than we were then. We've both grown so much, you can't even compare it to before." As far as what is likely to happen with the Judgment Day, the Wrestling Observer newsletter said, while this could easily change, the long-term plan is Priest out of Judgment Day. Whether that means McDonough is in, that's a probable but not 100%. Giving the latest information on the upcoming singles bout between Jimmy and Jey Uso, the Wrestling Observer said, "We do know that Jimmy versus Jey Uso is being held off for more build time and likely a bigger show." Explaining why Kairi Sane is making a WWE comeback, the Wrestling Observer newsletter noted, regarding the return of Kairi Sane, the basic issue is that she was and still is very close to Bushiroad. Bushiroad wanted her exclusive. She wanted to work more dates, but Bushiroad wanted exclusivity regarding the more dates, which would also mean more money. Other things also came up as mentioned last week. She then talked about returning to WWE and had thoughts about returning, particularly with the success Sky has had there. She talked with those close to her who supported her leaving with the idea that if she doesn't, she later in life would always have questions or regrets about it. She also felt things for her would be better with Levesque in charge of creative. During AEW Dynamite this week, Hangman Page did not appear for the show outside of a pre-taped segment, as the Wrestling Observer newsletter said. Adam Page was also booked for that show. He was to tape an interview backstage that would air on Dynamite. He lives in the area, so it wasn't a case where he flew to the show, but he was there and then told not to come to the building. One wrestler noted to us that it would have made sense for Page to have come out off TV as a surprise pop since he's from the area, but as far as we know, his only role was to do the pre-tape and not appear before the crowd. When he was then told not to go to the building, the term used was to keep the peace, and his promo taping was moved to another location in Greensboro. The story going around after was that it was Punk related, with different people in the company with knowledge of the situation both confirming and denying that part of the story. While there was a lawsuit against WWE Creative over alleged racist pitches made, Brandon Thurston reported Brittany Abrams voluntarily dismissed her lawsuit without prejudice against the named defendants. WWE itself isn't part of the voluntary dismissal. Abrams is a former WWE writer who filed a lawsuit in April alleging racial discrimination and wrongful termination. According to the Orlando Sentinel, AEW star Cash Wheeler has had recent legal troubles with them, writing, Daniel Wheeler, a tag team champion in All Elite Wrestling, was arrested Friday morning by the Orlando Police Department and charged with 1 count of aggravated assault with a firearm. He was booked in circuit court according to county records. Wheeler, 36, better known in wrestling circles as Cash Wheeler, is a member of the tag team FTR with Dax Harwood. They hold the AEW Tag Team Championship Championship. According to county records, Wheeler's alleged offense was committed on July 27th, and a warrant was issued July 28th for his arrest. On August 3rd, his attorneys issued a written plea of not guilty, and his appearance at a pre-trial conference was waived on that day. His arrest affidavit was filed August 18th, and a first appearance in court is expected. AEW issued a statement to the Sentinel which reads, "AEW has been made aware of the charge, and we are closely monitoring the situation. Wheeler is fully cooperating with local authorities." AEW is generally considered the number 2 wrestling promotion in the US behind WWE. Wheeler is scheduled to wrestle August 27th in London on a show expected to draw 80,000 fans. Wheeler is an 18-year veteran wrestler who spent 6 years in the WWE system, including time in Orlando-based NXT before joining AEW in 2020. PW Insider added that Wheeler filed a plea of not guilty to the charge of aggravated assault with a firearm via his attorney with the Circuit Court of Orange County, Florida on August 3rd. The charge is considered a third-degree felony in the state of Florida, so whatever incident led to the arrest, it happened several weeks ago and was not something that took place overnight. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.